And today we are discussing one of the wonderful king, Lalitaditya. He is the most powerful king of ruler of Kolkata dynasty. And it is said that in few chronicles that he is a world conqueror. And his empire included not only Indian parts but also Afghanistan and Central Asia. To discuss more about this wonderful king, we have a reputed historian, Ms. Meera Joshi, who is the head of the department of one of the prestigious college, St. Anne's College in Hyderabad. Welcome to the show, Meeta ji.
Namaskar, Kanchan. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm also good.
Yes. And today we are discussing a wonderful profile of great King Lalitadit. And I just want to share one thing. I happened to visit his Avantipur in Kashmir. And since that, I'm mesmerized the kind of structure I've seen there. So I would like to listen more about this wonderful ruler of India.
See, Lalitaditya belonged to the Karkota dynasty of Kashmir, and it is also said that this Karkota dynasty evolved from the mythical Naga dynasty. Okay, and he was termed as a word conqueror by one of the writers of Kashmir, Kalhana. So Kalhana wrote one account known as Raj Tarangini, in which he describes Laitaditya as a word conqueror. And to tell you, Kanchan, the meaning of Raj Tarangini is rulers of the river. Okay, rulers of the river. So Kalhana has explained his reign as such that he was ruling all the extents of the rivers of India, not only in India, Afghanistan, Central Asia also. And if you view the historical accounts, not only in Kalhana's Rajtarangini, we get the mention of Lalitaditya in the book of Tang Dynasty of China. So that means he had relations with China also that time. Some historical accounts they put up that one of his ministers, Count Kun, was of Chinese origin. So that means he had, extent till China. And if we see his time period, it is from 724 to 760 CE.
Okay.
Why he is termed as a world conqueror is that he was the king who not only stopped the Arabian and Turkish invasions in India, but also established his empire in most major parts of India, Afghanistan, and the Central Asia. He is also termed as the Alexander of India. So why? Because Alexander also boasted to be a world conqueror. So same way, the Kashmiri author Kalhana, he wrote about him that he was a word conqueror, not only a word conqueror, a person who built the empire, who developed all the areas of art, architecture, and he was a great builder. Apart from a military general, he was a great builder. Why he is termed as a world conqueror? Because first of all, he defeated a very famous king, Yashovarman of Kannauj.
Right.
And finally, Yashovarman, submitted to him, and not only Yashovarman but other rulers that time, they all accepted his suzerainty. And why he is, praised in all the records is because he was the one who stopped all the foreign invasions. That time, all the Arabian, the Turkish invasions which were happening in India, and the time period in which he ruled for around 37 years. So that time period in which he ruled, they are free of foreign invasions. Otherwise, before that, you find lot of foreign invasions happening, because 326 you get Alexander coming to India, and many other
Yes.
Arabian and Turkish invaders also.
Right.
But his rule, that almost 37 years he ruled,
Okay.
that was free of invasions.
Okay.
That means his army was very strong,
Mm.
his empire was huge, and he was a good administrator, because he was able to manage this huge empire sitting at Srinagar, because Srinagar was the traditional capital, but he developed his new capital that was known as Parihaspur.
Okay.
Still, it is there,
Okay.
Parihaspur. Parihaspur means a smiling place.
Okay.
So he developed his capital there, and he controlled the entire India, Central Asia, and Afghanistan from there.
Okay.
Not only in terms of his military conquests, he is also known in history because of his, love for temples. There's so many temples he built,
Yes.
and one of the temples, which is 3 miles away from Anantnag in
Right.
Kashmir,
Right.
it is the Sun Martin Temple. It is the Sun Temple.
Yes.
We only get the ruins now because it was ruined by one Islamic invader.
Mhm.
He ordered rather
Right.
to destroy the temple.
Right.
So this Sun Martyr temple has a huge temple in between, surrounded by 84 smaller shrines.
Right.
So, and very beautiful architecture, very beautiful architecture.
Yes.
And
I
not only this Sun Martin temple,
can.
he built temples of Shiva, Vishnu, all deities. He built the temples, but unfortunately, the invaders
Mm.
who came, they destroyed all the beautiful architecture which was left by Lalita Ditya. Not only this, we because that time, there was scarcity of water probably,
Mm.
because of as we know, Kashmir is very very cold.
Mm.
So he built many bunds. Bunds means small small water bodies for the purpose of irrigation,
Mm.
and canals which he got built from the rivers, canals for the irrigational purposes.
Right.
So not only we can remember him as a military general, but a builder who has left a good legacy. But unfortunately, as I said, the invaders, the Islamic invaders, they ruined it. They rather gave orders to ruin it, so, which is very very unfortunate. And see, it has not only happened in Kashmir in the reign of Lalita Ditya, but if you move down to Gujarat, Mahmud Ghazni,
Mm.
he attacked Somnath temple many times.
Right.
Why? Because it was a very rich temple,
Right.
very rich temple.
Right.
So, and to tell you the fact, Ghazni, he invaded India 17 times
Right.
from 1000 to 1017 AD. So not only in Kashmir, so many places these invasions has happened, which have you know destroyed our heritage, because all these temples, monuments, they come under heritage, and they tell us about the history. You
Right.
know,
Right.
so much of destruction was done in the previous years, in the past, and now I will divert from the topic, Kanchan.
Yeah.
Now when I'm not talking as an individual, I'm talking as a common person. Now when we want to undo that which has happened, So lot of communal questions they come up.
I,
Many communal questions
yes, right.
they sprung up.
Yes, actually, we don't realize this is a part of our heritage and we should be proud of it. As I told you, when I visited Avantipuram, it was so mesmerizing because even the ruins, the architecture on the pillars and the stones which I've seen that point of time, which were really very artistic. And you really feel and you have that kind of greatness when you touch any of these stones, and it is spread on a vast area, and that unfortunately it is all in a stone, I mean ruined.
You are just getting the ruins.
Right,
And just imagine if we had the original temple, how grand, how beautiful it would be.
right, right,
Main temple surrounded by 84 small shrines.
right.
And it was the temple of sun god, because Martand is another name of sun. So not only for the sun, but he built temples for Shiva, Vishnu, and other Hindu deities. And why Lalitaditya is also praised in the pages of history, as I told you, not only for his military conquests, but for the work which he did for his subjects, for the public, because he cared for the public. He built those water bodies, bunds, canals for irrigation. And not only that, we in Kallana's Raj Tarangini, we get account that the statues which were built, they were huge. And maybe that was exaggerated also, because seeing the time period, you feel little confused at how they were able to erect so huge statues of gods and goddesses. But Kalhana's Raj Tarangini, which was written in the 12th century CE, gives us a very detailed account about his reign, about Laitaditya's reign. Though he, see, now if you do a comparison, because some people they compare Laitaditya as a word conqueror, and they also compare him with Alexander, because they say he was the Alexander of India. But one unique thing about him was he was not into brutal killing, which Alexander did. So that difference we have to understand. He was not. He just when he went for conquests, there was always this option given to the king, that if it is your wish that you submit to us, or you have a battle or fight. So that way, treaties were also done, and many agreements were made. So it was not all that brutality. So when we compare him with Alexander, it is good, because as the history portrays Alexander as a great king, Alexander the Great. So we should also call Lalitaditya the Great. But unfortunately, Kanchan, mention of Lalitaditya is not in our history books, which is very very sad.
Yes, very sad.
Why
And any king who doesn't.
our children, why our children are deprived of the heritage and the great times which our kings had in India.
Right.
So this is little unfortunate actually.
Yes, really very unfortunate, because any king who has ruled such a vast empire and so for so many years, he should be, and without benevolent or without caring of subject, no king can rule in such a vast area and such a long time. And of course, Lalita, that has to be taught in school and of course in colleges also, because he is a part of our rich heritage and he was a great king.
And even Al-Baruni, even in Al-Baruni's accounts, he is mentioned because his name was Laita Ditya Mukta Pida.
Okay.
So Al-Biruni mentions Muttai,
Mhm.
which is an upbranch of Mukta Pida.
Okay.
Tang dynasty of China, they
Okay.
mention his.
Okay.
So that means he was known far and wide.
Okay.
His glory was far and wide. So,
Yes.
but unfortunate that foreigners knew about him, but now our generation they don't know about the great kings. And I should be thankful to you, Kanchan, because at least you have taken up this task of exploring the great kings of India. So at least through this series, we will be able to tell our students, the common public, about the great kings which existed,
Yes.
who were really great.
Yes, and actually, it is something which really makes us proud, which should make us proud that we belong to such a great country, that we have so great people like Lalita Ditya, or like maybe Harshvardhan, maybe Ashoka, Chandragupta. So, and then we should have pride in this aspect of our culture and traditions.
Yes, and see why India was known as Sone ki Chidiya that time, because of the prosperity.
Right.
And it was this wealth and prosperity only which lured the foreign invaders to come to India. Alexander, Gori, Ghazni, they all came to invade the wealth.
Right.
So,
Yes.
and how India was so much wealthy and prosperous
Mm.
because of the rulers, because of their policies, because of their administration.
Mm.
Because see, when if a head of the family is not good, you
Mm.
cannot expect a good family. Same way, if the ruler is not good, you
Mm.
cannot expect a flourishing country.
Right.
So that means our kings were great,
Right.
who were glorified even in our Puranas, Vedas, all the ancient texts. They sing the glory of our kings.
Right.
So we should be proud of that heritage.
Right.
As Indians, we should be proud of our culture, of our heritage, of
Right.
our history,
Mm.
which is really magical, mesmerizing,
Yes. Definitely.
beautiful.
Definitely. It was so wonderful to talk to you, Mitaji, today and discuss one of the greatest King Lalita Ditya. We'll be discussing more about his period in our other series. Till then, bye
Yeah, we
bye.
will cover about his military conquests
Yes.
in detail.
Yes, we'll be discussing military conquest in detail in our next series. So till then, bye bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmach Technologies and welcome to today's Monday morning edition of Top Brass. And before we start our discussion today, let me invite my friend from London, Mr. Neville Gunn.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. You're partway through Monday and we're just starting, but it's still Monday. So what we need to be doing is doing things slightly differently this week than perhaps we've done before, because then we'll get maybe a better result.
Absolutely. In fact, as we had predicted way back in March and April during our discussions, many months back that the whole business scenario will change, and it has now changed. So when we say that business scenario has changed, is moving away from face-to-face meeting to digital meetings, and that has become a reality now. So the same applies for job seekers. So if somebody is looking for a job, the most important thing that they can do today is basically make a video about their expertise, about their USPs, and you know uh, expose themselves in the digital world. What do you want to say about this?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, CK. And in fact, for many years now, even when video first came on the scene, remember those dizzy days where we heard of something called YouTube? And we thought, well, what's YouTube? Sounds interesting. Let's have a look at that. We're still talking this century, by the way, folks, if you're listening. This wasn't created last century, it was created this century. YouTube is only about 15 or 16 years old, if truth be known. And I can remember at the time there was a group in the UK which was government funded. It was called Business Link. And the purpose of Business Link was to help businesses get more business. Simple as that. So once you start a business, you can actually perpetuate that business and you get the ball rolling. Even today, I find lots and lots of businesses, and I'm not just talking about the UK now, I'm talking about globally. There's lots of businesses that still don't have their promotion on a video. The chief exec or the COO or the CFO shies away from social media. And yet, that actually, for a small business, is one of the growth arenas because people buy from people, as we've said before, and therefore people need to know who you are, know what you're doing, know what you're selling. And now, in this very difficult arena, for people looking for jobs, many that have had jobs prior to COVID, but were, put on long leave and now perhaps have found themselves redundant. There are jobs available out there, but lots of employers are now looking at different ways of recruiting people. I'm a bit surprised that recruiters actually haven't gone down this route. And my guess is they're probably not thinking in the right way. So any recruiter listening out there, perk your ears back because businesses, employers like me, like you, CK, have got options available for people. But what we'd like to do is we'd like to see what type of attitude these people have got. Not just send a CV and sit back and wait for a response. Now, many employers are putting CVs on job sites and thousands of people are applying for maybe one or two jobs that are available. But what I do know is that when people make a little video of themselves and introduce themselves to corporates, employers, wherever they are in the world, then they get to the top of the pile because they've done something a little different. So come and do a little video. We will share it for you. We'll put it out there. We've got lots of contacts in the business world that look at our regular videos that we put out there on a daily basis because they're looking for advice, they're looking for support, they're looking for ideas. So why not put you out in the arena? We're not going to charge you for it, frankly. Just do a little video, introduce yourself, and let's see if we can help you. Because that's the bottom line, really. This is about sharing the best practice to people out there so they can go and do their own thing. You can even go and create your own YouTube channel if you like. But if you're not that experienced, just do a little video and come online. Let's help promote you. That's just our little tip for the week, I suppose, CK. Those people that...
Yeah, I would like to add to what you're saying. I think it's a question of imagination. And, past few days, I have been seeing this HR. I think you mentioned the HR guys So the CHRO type people are spearheading the advertisement for their corporates. And they are saying that, hey, I'm going to hire 8,000 Java guys next month. So their imagination is still in 2019. I mean, they have not realized the reality, even though they are so senior and their designations are CHRO. So once in a while, almost like every week, I'm seeing these advertisements from the large corporation. Hey, I'm going to buy 8,000 guys next month. You know, so they are just keeping their branding alive, which is not valid anymore. And I think going back to the point that you're making, I think people have to take charge of their own destiny. And making a video is not a one-day job. You have to really learn the tricks. You have to learn the communication. You have to learn how to address the people, how to handle the questions. So it is not for everyone. So I think in addition to putting your video, we can also give you training. We can also improve your communication skills, and we can also help you handle the objections happening through digital media. So I think this is something that I would like to add.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, CK. And as you said, many organizations are living in the last year, despite the fact that people at a very senior level have had to deal with Zoom. Never before have they worked like we're working here. You're several thousand miles away from me. It's a slightly different time of day, but we're still talking with each other, not just over the phone, but we're having a conversation over video. The likes of Zoom, Skype, it's just as big elsewhere. WebEx, I mean, these things have been around for many, many years, certainly since I left corporate life, they've been around. And what we're finding is that although we're using these mediums ourselves on a regular basis, we're not actually investigating and using our creative imagination to use it for the benefit of something else we might be doing. So someone says, come on a Zoom call. Frankly, now I say, does it have to be Zoom? I'm sort of zoomed out, frankly. Is there another medium that perhaps we could utilize that? But people want to see your face now. They want to be able to talk to you just like they did before when you had a physical meeting. I mean, you and I have never physically met, but it's almost like we know each other intimately because we have conversations around the programs that we're running together. So just think slightly differently. You large organizations out there, come and have a chat with us. We've built platforms where we can actually get to a large population. We can identify that population for you rather than just a scattergun. The digital arena, you can focus where you channel all of your efforts. You might know it as pay-per-click. Well, it's pay per area. You actually really do focus down, and you can then actually get a whole stream of people that are more qualified, certainly digitally qualified, because they wouldn't see it otherwise. The days of putting an ad in a newspaper are probably dying away. They're still there, and they'll probably be there forever, just like newspapers are still there, despite the fact we've got a digital world. They'll be there for some people, but the majority of people today are doing what we're doing here. Spreading our word, being in the digital arena, and actually this is like an interview. You would have a physical interview with somebody. So this 90-second, say, little introduction of yourself on a video will tell you what to say. You have a practice yourself. We'll tell you what to say about yourself, and we'll tell you how to say it. But the thing is, you've got to do it. Demonstrate your can-do attitude in coming over in a very not hugely professional video. You don't need it, frankly. People just need to see who you are, why you are, what turns you on, why you're going to be a good asset to this organization. And frankly, you can say that in 15 seconds. Warren Bennis, who I only met once. Warren Buffett, beg your pardon, who I only met once. he was asked a question: how do you know the person is going to be right for your organization? And he said, I look into their eyes. That doesn't mean you're looking at a CV. The CV's got you to the conversation. I look into their eyes. What do you see? Do you see light bulbs there? Do you see someone's vacant? They're live, but they're not live. They're not really there thinking. Then you can have a good conversation. And that's where the video arena takes off immensely, because within 15 seconds, you can look into someone's eyes. Do they really mean what they're saying? And we see it all the time in physical presence. When you and I have been in big networking sessions, you can actually see who the people are that you want to be working with. And you see through their eyes, through their mannerisms, what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're saying it. You can't get that from a piece of paper that's a PDF copy that lands in your in tray. But you can get it from a video. So come on, everybody. Come online. Give us a little insight into who you are, and we'll help you get better. Simple as that. Not bad for a Monday morning.
In fact, Neville, this is a very good message. We are asking the job seekers to come and take our help in order to make their video, to learn the tricks of communication. How do you communicate your message about yourself to the companies who are looking for people like you? And then we will also publicize your videos to the people who are looking for resources like yourself. So I think these are the three key points that you have said today. I've taken liberty to summarize them. So thank you very much, Neville. You have a nice Monday, and we will catch up again tomorrow.
Thanks very much, CK. Enjoy your Monday, everybody. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Absolutely, Neville. Enjoy yourself, and bye-bye.